Hello everyone, I'm SmallNap. Today, following last video's attack animation, I will teach you how to create an interactable item. To interact with attack animation we just created, first let's go to player scene. Create an area node under player. Let's call it Hitbox. Then put a collision shape 2D to area 2D. Then name it shape for better naming convention. Set up collision shape 2D as a typical rectangle box. In attack animation, let's start with attack down. We can find that when we locate at area 2D node, in the right inspector window, it has collision section there. This section manages physical layers and mask. First, let's name layers in project settings. Go to General Layers Name, go to 2D Physicals. You'll find empty layers now. Name first one as Character, second one as Hitbox, and the third one as Hurtbox. Then back to Hitbox collision section. Mark Hitbox in layer. That means this Hitbox area 2D exists in Hitbox layer. And then mark Hurtbox in mask, which means that it can detect Hurtbox. Next, important properties for Area 2D are monitoring and monitorable. Monitoring allows Area 2D to detect bodies or areas entering or exiting. Monitorable allows Area 2D to be detected. Then we can use monitorable as a track in animation to make Hitbox monitorable when player swings sword. We change area 2D monitorable from false to true. Now we can add it to animation. Follow the same step for up, right, and left. Cool, we are all set from player side. Now let's create our first item that can be destroyed by player. We can use a static body 2D to create items existing in your farm. For better game dev, try to have a good habit of file organization. Create a directory for items. As usual, we need sprite, clear and shift 2D, and animation player to start. Here's an example weed. You can change it to anything you like, stone, stick, wood, whatever it is. Because this is a basic item, we only include 2 states animation for it. First one is idle, when nothing happens, what weed looks like in game. Cool, now we are able to drag the asset of grass to the sprite node. Let's drag it to here. Okay, it looks good. We also need to define with clear inspector like what we did for area 2D before. For layers, we need to define a new one for items. Let's call it object. So in future, all items should exist in this layer. For mask, we want this item can detect player, so we put character layer in mask. Cool, we are all set with idle. Now let's create an animation for destroyed. I call it die. It will play animation when player swing sword and hits this weed. Let's drag PNG to sprite, define its frames. 0.2 seconds should be good. 0.05 seconds for each frame should be changed here. And now we can add frames. Oops, we have 6 frames. So I think 0.3 seconds will make our animation looks better. But of course, I don't want to limit your style idea. Play around with times, frames, you will find your style of animation. Cool, looks good to me. Now we can move to add a new script for weed. Oh, before that, we also need to add Hitbox as a hit receiver in Weed. This is a pretty common design in games, but you can definitely play around with it. For layer, choose Hitbox. For mask, please choose Hitbox. I made a small mistake here. Cool, get back to script. We can set up a destroyed variable to avoid multiple calling, then create a signal from Hitbox. When area enter Hitbox, it will be triggered, and it will only detect Hitbox as our definition inclusion. Next, if not destroyed, we will process our destroy animation. Before that, remember to mark destroyed as true. In this way, when Hitbox stay here for multiple frames, it will only trigger once. Smart tip from my personal game dev. Let's create an area entered function from Hitbox. So we put all our determination code here. So when Hitbox enter this Hitbox, we will do processing, try to figure out if destroyed is true or false, and then we will handle all of them here. Then we also want this width to disappear after die. We need to build a function from animation player, create a signal from animation player on animation finished. If animation name is die, then we will qframe this instance. I would recommend to use qframe, which won't crash the game flow. For a specific reason, you can find it on Godot documentation. Awesome, it is the most exciting part to test. Let's put one width in farm. Here I use another common node, y_sort. It will help us automatically sort instances under it to make sure it looks natural. Cool. After we attack, this width played die animation and disappeared. Okay, in next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to generate pop-up items from destroyed item and then collect them. If you like my video, please spend some time to share to your friends, click a like. If not subscribed, please subscribe. This means a lot to me. Thanks for watching.